YouTube, what is going on? Gino Bonino here. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I kid you not. It is not too hot, not too cold. Mama Bear would approve. Little Three Bears Goldilocks reference there. Anyway, check this out. I got to show you guys something. Came outside, and what do we have? Just sitting literally outside my back door, but some vine ripened blackberries. They look wonderful. I had a couple and they are ripe. So I want to eat some, and then we're going to do some comic stuff. But again, I just wanted to, when you come outside and it's a beautiful day like this, you just have to take note, man. Gotta appreciate stuff. Too often I think we sit at our computers and phones and iPads and stuff like that and don't enjoy it when it's so incredibly beautiful outside. It's just an incredible day. Again, it's not hot, you don't have to sit out and break a sweat, but it's not cold at all. Shorts and t-shirt, this is one of those perfect days. PT, perfect temperature. I don't know what it is, probably about 84, something like that. Beautiful day. So before we go any further, let's have a couple of these babies. There's one right there. I hope you can see it. I don't know. See? Check that out. Where is it? No. There he is. Beautiful. Ooh. Yum. Now, they're not all right. If they have any red on them, they're a little bitter. But if they're absolutely black, they're ready to go. And it looks like there's quite a batch that will be ripe in the next few days. Let's look down here. Ooh, here we go. Check it out. Oh my God. Yum. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go inside and do a opening. I had a box show up and had a little damage, so I've been a little freaked out. I was actually going to wait and let things build up and open like 3 or 4 packages, but nothing came today, so I think the smart money is probably to open it and make sure that the books inside didn't get damaged in case we have some insurance issues. Hopefully not, and keeping my fingers crossed, and we'll just go from there. Again, man, it's just incredible. Beautiful day. So let's go inside. Let's quit this boring nonsense. I know you didn't come here to listen to me yammer about berries. And let's open some comic books and look at them. And ooh and groom. All right? So I'm going to shut this off and we'll open things up when we got the box. Bye for now. Hey guys, I'm inside like I mentioned I was going to do, and we are going to go on to the second part of the video, which is we're going to do a unboxing. Also wanted to talk a little bit about some books I picked up. First of all, this is the book or the box in question. You can see the damage I was talking about. It looks like it was looks like it was run over by a damn truck. But I know the person who sent this, and he knows his stuff. He knows how to send a book. I'm sure he's got this stuff well protected, so I'm not going to lose any sleep about it, but I do feel it's probably a good idea to open it just in case, so that's what we're going to do. Otherwise, I wanted to show you a few books that I picked up. Not a bunch of stuff, but just a few things here and there. My buddy Jim Comics, if you're not a subscriber, you should. He's got an incredible channel. He talks about mostly weekly books, what's coming up, but he also does a little spec talk, and he has a good feel for stuff. I know he talks to a lot of artists and has his ear to the ground as far as what's going on. Anyway, he mentioned this book today, so we can kind of start talking about it. I promised him that I wouldn't. War of the Gods #1. First appearance of Circe, who is a goddess who is probably going to be featured more prominently in upcoming DC titles. This is her first appearance. This is probably a good book to find. He mentions that himself. If you want a better kind of a fleshing out, go to his channel, Jim Comics, on here on YouTube. Again, he's got many thousands of subscribers. One thing that's unique about Jim is he does not make a dime off anything, off YouTube. He doesn't sell comics, nothing. He does it strictly for the love of the hobby. He could monetize himself, could make a bunch of money, but what he said, I've talked to him about it, he said, look, I don't want to have any of my subscribers have to deal with watching ads. He wants them just to be able to go straight to comic book stuff. So I much respect for that and his philosophy on that. He does it, like I mentioned, strictly for the love of the hobby. So good channel to check out if you're not already subscribed. Probably most of you are, but Jim Comics. Anyway, he talked his last video, he's going to talk about this book. So I picked up a couple of them. I actually got the whole mini-series 1 through 4. Now, these issues 2 through 4 have a B cover or an alternate, kind of a deluxe cover, if you will. The way they used to do it in the 90s, they called it a collector cover and then a normal cover. Usually the collector cover was like cardstock, a little bit fancier, if you will. There's a second issue of it, number 1. However, issue 1 has only this cover, so that's what you're looking for right there. I'll try to get the glare off it. Issue number 1, War of the Gods, first appearance of Circe, I don't know, probably butchered the name. Another thing I picked up, I went to the LCS for New Comic Book Day. I noticed a lot of people there just getting free comic books, that's fine, but I decided to do a little hunting, and while I was there, not a lot of people were doing that, so it was actually a good time to do it. They were all in line waiting for their free books. Walking Dead 191, kind of a sleeper in that what happens in the book, it wasn't really projected. It was kind of one of those catch you off guard sort of things. Most places are sold out. I know this one's going into a second print. And because this was what happened to this book, I don't want to spoil it, it affects this book. So 177, if you have it in your collection, great. If not, you may want to go look for it, because what happens here could definitely affect what goes on here. So just for FYI, again, I know a lot of people unfortunately have quit collecting or buying and reading Walking Dead. My own 2 cents is that it looks like they've kind of got off the business as usual, and they put some new ideas and new blood and whatnot into the series. The kind of the bash on the show was that there was so much violence that it wasn't paying off. It was just like constant killing, and then no kind of retribution or anything like that. And it seems that that's changed. It seems like it seems like they kind of got off the business as usual model and are now kind of coming up with some new ideas and adding new characters and stuff like that. I think it's great. I think Walking Dead is one of those shows that there's a lot of potential for, but if you get too stale and it's the same thing over and over again, people are going to get sick of it, and that's kind of what happened. Now, maybe with these new storylines and things like that, they can get some of their readers and collectors and people that watch the show back, because it was a great show and it was way hot during a long time. Also, I want to talk about this issue. This one I basically can't keep this one in my collection. If you don't have this is Captain America 25. And again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I assume most of you have seen the movie. If you have not seen Endgame, it might be a good idea to turn the sound off while I'm showing this book. Turn the sound back on when you see it go bye-bye. This book is where Sam Wilson becomes the new Captain America. The mantle is passed down. Now, there's some people that have said that happens in many issues earlier. However, this is the one that kind of collecting world is accepting as the big one. And if you don't have this issue, it's probably too late. Prices are kind of high right now. My recommendation is wait until people's attention turns towards Spider-Man and upcoming other movies, and then this one may die down a bit. Depends. And then I'm sure if there's another Avengers movie, and if Sam is the new new Captain America, this will probably jump again. So it's a good one to have, but it's not necessarily a good one to get now. and pay $20-25 for it. Just my recommendation. I could be wrong, but that would be my take on it. Another one I picked up while I was there is Shadow Man 13, first Punk Mambo, the pink-haired young lady that has her own title. There's 2 covers to this. I did pick up the A cover, but there's also a B cover, which looks like this, a little different. And I got 2 of those as well. And one of the other. Probably a good one to have. I know it was on the Hot 10 list. I also picked up first Robbie Reyes variant cover of All New Ghost Rider #1. This is the animal variant. If you notice, the artwork's kind of a hamster. It looks like he's going so fast on his little wheel it starts on fire and it busts himself out of the hamster enclosure or the aquarium. But that's the way the B cover looks. And then speaking of Captain America, once again, if you haven't seen the movie, turn the sound off again until I get done showing this next book. I picked up 3 of these. This is Captain America, All New Captain America #1. This is where Sam becomes Captain America and starts his own take on the character. First issue. Got 3 of those. And once again, probably a good issue to have. It's not going for a terrible amount of money right now. That may change again if the series Avengers movie kind of comes back out and he is the Captain America, and it may be a good one to get, because this is like his first cover appearance, first ongoing series. I'm spacing out. All right, so let's go to opening. Let's see what we got in the bag here. So what we were trying to do is we were trying to go for a flat rate box. That's kind of what this is. And I think so we don't mess things up any worse, we're going to give it a little chop on the corners. And there's the first bunch. And got some padding. Thank you. And there's the second bunch. And they look like, it's hard to say, it looks like we're okay. It looks like the box took most of the damage, which is what you're looking for. That's why you pad stuff up, so if it does take some damage, the cardboard and the bubble wrap and stuff like that, this is the stuff that gets beat up, not the books inside. This complete load, this is a huge bunch of books that I bought from Vikaru, 2000 Vikaru, YouTuber that's been doing this for a while. Guy from the Midwest, became friends with him as well, and I will say he knows his comic books more so than me, for sure. He is almost in a constant state of collecting, always picking up stuff. I guarantee you, if you picked up a book that had a first appearance, you could take it out of a pile of 10,000 books, hold it up, and he could tell you who did the artwork, who did the writing, and who the first appearance is. And it could be the most obscure character in the world. And he knows it. I mean, he will be able to tell you the first work of an artist, anything like that. He's like a walking encyclopedia of comic books. Anyway, he does so much collecting that he often picks up 2, 3, 4 copies of a book. And in doing so, he will, every year, he sells off many of the duplicates in an effort of raising some money so he can reinvest into more pickups. What he does, which a lot of us do, is you sell some books off in order to buy other things that you like, and that's what he does. So he had his annual sale. He calls it his Help a Comic Book Addict Out sale, and he put up this stuff, and I notified him that I was interested in it, and he wrote me back, and we kind of came up with a price. A lot of these are books that I've been looking for a while. They're, for example, there's going to be a Black Hammer #1 in here. Not an impossible book to find by any means, but there's none here where I live. So it's either buy it off eBay for somebody I don't know, or work with Vikaru and see if he can we can come up with a price. We did, and hopefully he's happy. I know I'm happy, and I'll show those books. So what I think I'm going to do is stop here, go get a drink, get my voice back, and then we'll do the opening in a minute. So we are out. I will talk to you later. Peace. Hey boys, I am back, and we are going to do our opening. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty. So let's take our first pack. Well protected, in bubble wrap and cardboard. I always appreciate that. I don't think there's too much as too much protection, although it can kind of be a pain to open. It's still a necessary thing to do because, like I mentioned, the post office folks don't always know they're handling comics. They sometimes think they're handling stuff that doesn't need quite as much care, and stuff gets tossed around a little bit. So that's why it's good to wrap stuff up with that thought in mind. And we're using our handy dandy surgeon scalpel. Like I mentioned, I think every collector should have one of these because you can get in and do very refined cutting, and also work on, if you're having to fix a book, sometimes to be able to move over or flip over a fold or a crease or something like that. Having a scalpel to be able to do that. I know a lot of times people use dental picks, and that works great too, but sometimes you need something with a little more width to it, and that's what it is. So let's get right to it. The first one we have is question number 17. This one is, I had this book and then I sold it, and I've always kind of wanted it back. You know how that is. I'm sure if a lot of you have collected and sold stuff, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You sell it and you're like, why the hell did I do that? But anyway, it's not a big book by any means, but it's the first or the second Rorschach, or the first time Rorschach kind of is melted or melds into the normal DC universe. So he's talked about here. I don't know if he's shown. I think he is, if I remember right, but I do know that's kind of the, so if you see this one, pick it up. It's usually in the, you'll often find that one in the dollar bin. It's not a real major issue. The other one I have, but it's Aquaman #1. This is Trench. Was it Trench King? This is, I got 3 Eternal books, just because I'm kind of picking those up when I can find them. I've got issue 3. I've got issue 7. And issue 4. So 3, 4, and 7. Probably a good idea if you see these. Now keep in mind there's a few different adorations, or a few different series. You want the 20 center series is kind of what you're looking for with the incredible Jack Kirby art. Next book is Spawn number 97 with the Angela cover. This one wasn't cheap by any means, but again, I'm trying to collect as much Spawn as I can get. I've been on board with Spawn since the day it came out. I remember it well. All the Image books, I lived in Los Angeles at the time, and a lot of the Image books, they did their first day of issue in Los Angeles. I think a lot of them were out there probably doing promotions and doing TV shows and things of that nature. So a lot of the artists came out. They went to Golden Apple Comics on Melrose, and that's where I picked up a lot of the early Image books. Unfortunately, not many of them, did anything, but Spawn did, and I really liked Todd McFarlane. I kind of had a love-hate relationship with him for a while. I thought he might have been a little bit, and I just said, he seemed like he was a little bit arrogant there for a while. But I think he kind of came to his senses. I think he knows. And to be honest with you, his ego is what is part of his personality. That's what makes Todd McFarlane, which makes him successful. So I really can't, I can't say anything bad about it. But it sort of rubbed me the wrong way for a while. So now, however, I've gotten over it, and I really like him. I like his artwork. I follow him on Instagram. He's actually he's really a cool guy. So again, collecting a lot of Spawn. Ends of This Earth #2. This is the I forget. I want to say, and I should know this. 592. This is a hot book as well, and I should know this cover. The artist, and just for shit at artist, and I should know it better. This is another book I sold and wish I wouldn't, and now with the movie coming up, I think it's going to probably spike again. Issue 650. This is the first appearance of the stealth costume. Not exactly the same thing that they're doing, it looks like in the movie, but possibly close enough. The first time around when the copy I had, it was right when they mentioned the movie was coming out and were teasing the costume, and it was like right around when the PlayStation 4 game was released around that same time. So the movie was making that book just absolutely go crazy. So I sold my copy, and then now things have kind of sort of chilled out a little bit, so that's why I picked it up. Next one is Silver Surfer #34. This is with the Galactus cover. Salmon Twitch #1. The idea being, once again, with Spawn, this is probably going to be what the movie, at least that's what Todd McFarlane said, this is going to be a kind of the main characters in the movie. We'll see if it turns out that way, but that's at least what he's wanting to do. Punisher #10, just the awesome Punisher Daredevil cover. I try to collect the Punisher Daredevil covers. I know there's a few of them. There's also there's the Captain America one too, where Punisher's standing on the shield. Again, just iconic covers. And NYX #5, an early appearance of X-23. So that's it for the first bundle. And please, on that 592 Spider-Man, tell me who that artist is down below. I should know this. It's at the absolute tip of my tongue. I know he's done a bunch of art did it during that time, and I know that variable is much sought after. I see it on eBay, but again, it's not that I don't know it. It's just that I'm completely brain farting out on it. Sucks getting old, man. I'll probably think of it before this is done, but nonetheless, I'm trying to focus on this. Okay, here's our second bundle. And again, well wrapped. He did the key thing that you always want to do, and I've talked about this, which is a lot of times people will get the cardboard and they'll put the cardboard, the books between the cardboard, but then what they'll do is leave the books, just pile one on top of the other, and because they're in bags, they're very slippery. So it's quite normal for 2 or 3 bags that are in the middle to slip out, and then they, in essence, become like naked books, like they don't have anything around them. So that's why you always want to bundle them with plastic, or bundle them with in a paper bag, something like that, and that way it keeps them from sliding around, and then put the cardboard on the edges, and then what you've got is a bundle there. This one is Flash, Iron Heights. Sorry about that. Second print of Spider-Man 101, the Mobius appearance. I've got the first one, first appearance that I just had slabbed, but I don't have a second copy, and I always like that. This is just an iconic cover, and now with Mysterio in the movie 142, I've got, I think, a couple copies of this, but I just love this cover with Spider-Man shooting his web and it going where Mysterio's head is supposed to be. And speaking of Mysterio, we also have a Todd McFarlane's take on it, which is 311. and Firestorm, number 24. This is the Blue Beetle appearance. And another cover that I absolutely love, and this is one of those books that I've wanted forever, 102. And I mentioned this earlier, Black Hammer, number 1. Again, a lot of these books, like this one and this one, I've hunted for a while looking for them for cheap. And you realize that there's certain books that everybody kind of knows that it's a valuable book, and you rarely will find it cheap. If you're lucky, you may, but I'm not lucky, and it tends to be either a rare book here or a hot book here, and for that reason, it's hard to find. And another one I've looked for a while is Moon Knight, number 25. Really tough book to find in high grade, just because of the black cover all over. It shows spine ticks, fingerprints, etc. And then these are probably books, knowing my good buddy Vikaru, that he probably threw some of these in. I think this is a freebie. This is Magnus, number 4. I'm not sure if he threw this in or if we talked about it. I'll have to look at my notes. But he usually does throw in a few things. Bird of Prey, number, what else? 69. Anticipation of the Bird of Prey movie coming up, or the show, and also, what number is this? This is the standalone 0, with them all on the cover. And then last but not least, The Boys. And I started seeing the previews for The Boys, upcoming, I believe, on, is it Netflix? I think so. But anyway, to me it looks good. It looks kind of like a take on superhero, like they're going to, it's almost like, it reminds me a little bit of The Watchmen, where they sort of skewer the whole thing, but if they do it well and do it funny without being too gross or making too much fun of it, it can really be a good, it can, be good. I have a feeling The Boys is going to be good. It looks like it has a lot of humor. It looks like it takes a lot of the comic tropes and makes just the right amount of fun of it without going overboard or without being, too crazy. Almost like Spinal Tap for a comic book movie. So we'll see what happens. So that is it, guys. That is my day's work for comic book stuff. Now I've got to go and put some of these in bags. A few of these need pressing, so I'll put them in my to be pressed pile. I expected that. And again, that's not a big deal. I a lot of times finding books that have that, they talked about it, kind of what some people call the spine roll. I call it sort of the box thing, where it gets a little bendy or a little bit wide on the spine end. That's one of the easier things to be able to fix with a press, so I don't have a problem with that. Spine ticks I have a little bit more of a tough time with, stuff like that, but spine roll, easy. You just put a board in it and stick it in the press, and it usually straightens right out. Looks like the day it was came out from the publisher. So that is my video. I know it was long. I'm showing 13 minutes here, and I probably did about 4 minutes outside, probably about a 20-minute video, but thanks for your attention, guys. I know I ramble. Once again, please put the artist for $5.92 down there. Not $5.92, what am I talking about? This guy here. And I know I'm going to get skewered for not having this. $6.83. Who is that artist? And I know I should know this. It's not Dan Slott. It's not. I mean, he's well collected, and I should know this. He also did the Spider-Man 800 covers, and his art is very. I should. Oh my God, it's at the tip of my tongue. But I would stop, look it up, and come back. But it's not necessary. You guys tell me who I'm talking about down below. We'll see if you've been watching and if you've been paying attention. Thanks, guys. Peace out. Have fun. Go outside. Enjoy the world. And I will talk to you later. Bye for now. Peace.